Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show on News Talk, 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. Thank you for tuning in today. Joining us on the phones right now, our next guest. Always a pleasure to visit with our next guest. The last time we actually visited with him was when we were in Washington, D.C., the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Tom Homan. Welcome back to the show. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing fine. Sitting there trying to fight the good fight.
Well, we're glad to visit with you, and one of the reasons why we have you on today, you recently came out with a piece on Fox News, and you know, obviously with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, something that's gotten lost in the headlines, it seems, is illegal immigration, and the illegal immigration is continuing, though, even during coronavirus, and there's some folks who are apparently taking a little bit of advantage of what's going on and the distractions that are out there.
Well, absolutely. They're taking advantage of this crisis and trying to push their agenda through the courts. Of course, they pick and choose what courts they file the lawsuits in, thinking we're not paying attention. So I wrote an op-ed last week, bringing to America's attention what's happening. We got liberal judges across the city, whether it's New York, Chicago, Boston, San Francisco, San Diego, that have ordered ICE to release hundreds and hundreds of illegal aliens from detention, many of them criminals, significant criminals, because of the fear of COVID. And what got me really fired up is two different liberal judges in California have ordered hundreds of released, and there's 0 cases of COVID in either one of those facilities in California.
Really?
And when you got a facility that's got 1,900 beds and they only have 1,200 detainees, it's not overcrowded. When you take in the fact ICE has the highest detention standards and medical facilities in the industry, they got twice as many medical professionals in these facilities as any other state or federal prison. And they got 0 COVID in these two facilities, but judge says you're going to release hundreds because we're afraid they might get it. And so you're going to release them into the state of California that has 46,000 confirmed cases. It's just ridiculous. So this isn't about the health and safety of illegal aliens. This is about pushing back on the President Trump's agenda. This is about releasing more illegal immigrants, because this is what they wanted from the beginning, right? They want to end ICE. They want to end ICE detention. So they're using this pandemic to get to their end game. Okay,
and you touched on it a little bit. Let's take the state of California. If a judge releases illegal immigrants, how are they released? What happens to them? Where are they supposed to go?
Well, that's just the issue, right? A lot of them don't have, a lot of them are arrested by the board. So where are they going to go? They're going to go out into the public, and again, we're already, pressed hard with our social services and responses of pandemic. They'd be safer in taking care of in ICE facilities and not, going to the same hospitals, emergency rooms everybody else is going to. But, some will be released on ankle bracelets, some will be transferred to another facility, but very few can be transferred because one of the judges in California said, and if you transfer them to another facility, what the judge says, he wants ICE to get down to a population where they can guarantee 6 feet distance between each detainee and 6 feet distance between the guard and the detainee. And we both know that there's no jail facility built that way.
Right.
So to get to the metrics he pushed, they'd have to go from 1,900 beds to like 400 beds. And he did say, he said you can either deport them, transform them, or release them. But here's what he's hiding. Number one, we can't deport them because that's why they're being held. We're waiting on a final decision from an immigration judge, so deporting is out of question. And we can't transfer them because he said you can transfer them. However, if you transfer them to another facility anywhere in the United States, they must maintain a 6-foot distance there too, which again, there's no facilities built that way. So this is a way that smoke and mirrors to release them. And I want to just name a few examples. This is just a few examples of what's happened. San Francisco, illegal alien convicted of murder was ordered released. Chicago, another illegal alien convicted of homicide, released. In Detroit, another illegal alien convicted of homicide, released. New York City, illegal alien convicted of sexual assault on a child was ordered released. Massachusetts, an illegal alien convicted of rape was ordered released because the judges felt they were at risk of getting the virus. This is crazy what's going on.
Well, and I mean, listen, it's also, you've seen where some of these more liberal judges and more liberal cities have wanted to release, even prison populations. Now we're talking about illegal immigration. And then, like you said, it's a good point. that you bring up, the nation's distracted. No one's really talking about this. I'm sure the administration is not distracted. This has been something that the president has always focused on is illegal immigration. What is the administration trying to do? What more can they do to stop this practice?
They're taking it to court. Look, the good thing is just this morning they got a stay issued in California that they've appealed the decision to the appellate jurisdiction, so they got to stay. But it's the Ninth Circuit, so who knows how long that's going to stay. But DOJ is stepping up the responses, and they're trying to appeal these positions as quick as possible, along with ICE. But here's what I want the American people to know: ICE has already done their due diligence. This disease is a bad disease. I get it. But ICE has dealt with diseases for decades. We have dealt with, measles, chickenpox, tuberculosis, TB. We've had strains of TB that's unrecognizable, untreatable by any drug known, and we have to keep these people detained. These facilities have negative pressure rooms where they isolate them and they don't share the same air system that everybody else does. They've given masks to every detainee. ICE has already looked at the population for anybody over the age of 60. They even went below the 65 by the CDC. They went age 60 that has a condition that may make them more susceptible. And if they're not a public safety threat, they'll put them on an ankle brace and release them. ICE they've done their due diligence. They know how to deal with this stuff. But the court says not enough. Even the judge in California says, we're not using 65. I'm telling you 55. He's just posing a number out of his rear end and says we're going to base it on 55. So, ICE has done everything they can to address this. There are COVID cases in ICE custody, and what they're doing, if someone becomes symptomatic, just like in the general public, they'll get tested. If they get tested, they get cohorted. And the difference between you and me, if we get it, you stay at home, you try to deal with it and let you get real sick, then you go to the hospital. In ICE detention, if you're symptomatic or you get it, you get 24/7 medical coverage all around you. Yeah. So they're actually in a better position than most American citizens are in the public. So no one's going to argue with me. This is about safety and security and the health of illegal aliens. This is about their end game, right? End ICE detention, and have open borders, abolish ICE, and this is their way to get there. And sadly, they're making progress.
Visiting with Tom Homan right now here on the Chad Hasty Show. Hey, before we let you go, Tom, we appreciate you coming on today. Talk about your new book that you have out, Defend the Border and Save Lives, solving our most important humanitarian and security crisis.
That book came out a couple weeks ago, and what I did, I'm a career cop, right? 34 years I've been a cop. I never thought I'd write a book in my life. I wrote the book out of fear, out of frustration. Look, I can't explain this issue in a 6 or 7 minute Fox hit. I can't explain it when I go testify, because that ends up in an argument, as we all know. So they don't want to hear the truth. So I says, okay, well, I'll write a book. That way they can't gabble me to shut up, and there's no time limit. So I wrote a book. I'm trying to educate the American people on why is Tom Homan so emotional and get angry when he talks about this stuff. Because if they've seen what I've seen in 34 years, they'd want it fixed too, and it can be fixed. So I did in my book, I talk about the terrible things I've seen in my career, the terrible investigations I've done that would turn your stomach, and trying to educate the American people that illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. Women are being raped coming through this journey. Cartels are making millions of dollars. People are dying. And I'm just tired of the truth being hidden from the American people. So I decided to write a book. And a big part of the book's about President Trump. President Trump's been a game changer. Every president talks about fixing the border. President Trump has actually talked the talk and walked the walk. Numbers are down 85% on board because this president, despite all the hate from the Democrats and not helping them one iota, despite Congress not helping them at all, he's got an 85% decline in illegal immigration on the border. He's the right guy at the right time to protect America. So I wrote the book trying to tell people what I've learned in 34 years. So hopefully when they pick the book up and read it and end it, when soon as they put that book down, hopefully they'll pick their phone up, call their congressmen and senators and say, we can fix this. The president has already shown us how. Let's fix it. So we can save not only American lives, we can save immigrant lives.
Very nice. Tom Homan, always a pleasure to visit with you. Let's visit again soon about illegal immigration and any updates that you have there. And we appreciate you joining us today.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's Tom Homan, former acting director of ICE. By the way, you can pick up his book, Defend the Border and Save Lives, Solving Our Most Important Humanitarian and Security Crisis. You can get that on Amazon and at your favorite bookstore.